Hi, you might know me as the Midnight Raven or Raven. If you're new to my channel named the Midnight Raven, there's a lot behind it, but you'll come to that eventually. I sit and I do my videos and I do my live streams, and I wonder just how much you really know about me. The Midnight Raven is a persona or an ego or my goth name, however you want to call it. But before I became the Midnight Raven and my alter ego on YouTube, I had a person that I was before then and gradually became who I am today. So I thought I would give you a bit of a back history on who I am, where I come from, and how I've ended up where I am today on YouTube. If you don't want to watch, that's fine. If you'd like to know more and you have any other questions that you want to know after this video, you can comment down below with anything that I haven't mentioned or anything you'd just like to know and just find out about. So, I can't tell you my real name for obvious reasons, but I have a mum and a dad, and I have two sisters. I spent many years living in a tiny little village called Morley. Morley St Botolph is a very small village with a couple of thousand people, if that, maybe 1,500. It has a tiny school, or it did back then. I had a pub, I had a church, and I had a village hall that was shared between like two villages. So it's a very small, I wouldn't say it was a close-knit community because I didn't really spend a lot of time with quite a few of my neighbours, to be fair. My little house, which was a two-bedroom semi-detached house. We used to live next to my nan, which was kind of cool and kind of weird at the same time. Everyone used to say it was kind of weird living next to your own grandparents, but I kind of thought it was cool to go around there every day and say hi and everything and see your grandparents maybe a bit more than you would normally living elsewhere. We had a little dog that was called Pippi. We've had budgerigars, we've had rabbits, but the main focus of animals was a dog called Pippi, who lived to a ripe old age of 16, I believe, when he passed away. In Morley, it was very small. I used to spend most of my time as I grew up hanging down the park and just hanging out with friends, a very small clan of friends who I still have contact with, of some of them today, amazingly, you wouldn't believe it. Even to this day, I still have contact with a couple of my friends from when I was younger. Up until I was 11, I went to Morley St Botolph Primary School, which is a really cool old school. We used to have mobiles and everything. Obviously, it's all changed now and they have a new extension and everything, and the school's a lovely place now. I've seen pictures on Google Maps where it's been extended and it looks a lot better than it did when I went. But I used to love going to school. I used to walk to school every morning, or I used to bike. The views around where I used to live were absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't fault the views. I used to live between two farmers' fields, and my house used to look up on this great big hill that had all these fields. We had fields by the side of us. I wasn't so keen on the farmers per se. Farmers have the stick in Norfolk for being grumpy, and most of the ones that lived near me were kind of grumpy, to be fair. We had a lovely little pub as well. It was such a darling little place. My dad used to play for the local darts team, and I used to go in there quite regularly as well, and we'd just hang out and have a drink on a Sunday. And they used to have like a little bear garden at the back, and they had a little play area for the kids, and it was really nice. Really nice place. Then as I got older, I went to Wyndham High School, which was a lovely little high school. I didn't really enjoy high school, to be fair. I spent most of my childhood years being bullied, possibly for being different, but everyone, you know, experiences bullying at some point, however small. So I had a good 5 years at Wyndham High School, met loads of friends who I talk to quite a lot now, and I hang out with quite a few of them as well. Still, even to this day, I still talk to them, which is good to keep connections. It gives you a link back to your past, which I find really interesting. And then before I left high school, My parents got divorced, and they separated, which was a bit of a trying time. Going back to when I was in high school, in year 11, I had a bit of a traumatic event happen within my life that changed who I was, possibly for the rest of my life. An event happened in my life, which I can't tell you for obvious reasons, but it was a significant event that left me not mentally scarred as such, but I questioned who I was at 11 years old, which is a horrible thing to say, that at 11 years old you're meant to be finding yourself, and I was going through so many other things at the same time, like being 11-year-old, you were coming into puberty, you were changing to a teenager, you were going to high school, which is a stressful enough stuff, and then something else happened on top of that, and I got really bogged down, to be fair. I then spent most of my childhood days in my bedroom alone, kind of secluded from everyone. I did go out, but I didn't make a big thing of going out. I used to sit in my room and I used to listen to music, and I used to just shut myself off from the world, to be fair. I found that I needed time to get over what was happening and what was going on. But an issue like that carried on for many years, stuff that went with it, which I can't say, but it carried on for a good few years. What was happening and issues I had, and mentally, I don't think I ever officially got over what happened. I probably have now, looking at it. It took me a long time to get over it, but I can't say because I don't want that put over YouTube. So how I became the Midnight Raven happened around 11 to 12. Not becoming the Midnight Raven, but becoming Raven, which is my goth name that I gave myself back when I was 11. Sort of 11, 12-ish. I found a group of mates who I loved dearly back then, who saw me for me, wasn't judging, and they were awesome mates. There was Craig, there was Kelly, there was Donna, there was Andrew, Janet, and just loads of supportive friends that I had back at high school. I had my cousins at high school, which was also a bonus. I had a couple of cousins at high school that looked out for me, and I had some really good friends that even to this day still look out for me, although you're kind of in your own world when you leave high school. So I hang around with them, and then I met certain people, and I started getting into music in a big way, and I started getting into the goth scene, as it was, wearing dark clothes, just being more of a recluse, and I felt that I kind of belonged somewhere. I felt like I was kind of disjointed from my own family because of what was going on, and that I needed to like distance myself. And then this whole thing came along with the goth scene, and it just called to me. I don't know why, and I don't know for what reason. I don't know whether it's what I needed at that time to get me out of the rut I was in, because I was really struggling at that point. I was like possibly one of the lowest I've been, and it's hard to say that 11, 12-year-old is having like a midlife crisis, but I honestly felt that if I hadn't have been in this goth scene and met people and talked and dragged myself out of where I was, I honestly don't know how I would have been from then on. I then started going out more. I started socializing more. I started smoking, which was probably a bad thing. I started drinking, but it was more social drinking than anything. And then as life went on, I met really good people. I dated a couple of people in high school. And then it came to leaving high school, and I miss my friends dearly that I had at high school. They and my goth friends that I had there, they were a real part of my upbringing, should I say, and possibly turned me into who I am today. I then left high school and went to college, with the aspiration of studying to become. I wanted to work in weddings. Weddings are my passion, and I wanted to be a party planner or a wedding planner or something like that. And I ended up working in retail, which was a way in, I suppose. Working, I hoped to work in a wedding shop or a bridal shop, and then I fell pregnant, and I had my first son at 17, um, which was an experience. That is something for another story. That was an experience, finding out you were pregnant at 17. I then lost my home, because I was thrown out. I then lost my partner because he left me. So I was a young 17-year-old mother, with a baby, which is whew. And then 6 months later, I had another child. After he was born, I met this boy, and we gave him a brother called Lewis. So we've got Kieran, my oldest, and Lewis, my middle son, who I love dearly. Lewis is a wonderful child, and I had many somewhat happy years with his dad. And then separated, and met my current partner, who I've been with for 11 years. And we then had Talon, who is my youngest, who is adorable and is 10. My eldest is in his last 2 weeks of high school before he does his exams to go to college, which brings a tear to a mother's eye. So my life has been eventful. I hurt my back 2 years ago, and I've done irreparable damage to my spine. I have a genetic spine disorder now, which I've had since birth, but has only just become problematic enough to cause me issues with working, walking, and doing certain things. So, being off work, I spent a lot of time watching YouTube, and I found that I wanted to do YouTube myself. So I decided that I would make a YouTube channel and just do occasional videos and see how it went. So I spent a year doing videos, and I got barely any traction at all. I got like 60 subscribers, which in a year is probably horrific, to be fair. And I felt like it wasn't working. I felt that my channel wasn't showing possibly me. The Midnight Raven is my alter ego, and I've hid being goth or toned it down over many years, with having children, and that you have to create a certain look, a certain presence, around who you are around. And I felt that I had to maybe tone down certain bits of myself. At the minute, I still keep goth in me. It's in here. It's not going to change. I believe I was always meant to turn goth, or always meant to have an inkling for the dark side and everything. I mean, even my top today says that. It says in pizza wheat crust. And it's got a pentagram on it, but it's in a pizza. It's kind of Illuminati, however you want to call it. I was called a devil worshipper the other day, which I thought was kind of cool. It's always nice to get compliments. So the Midnight Raven, the channel itself, the Midnight Raven's name was because of my being Raven. But I didn't think I could just call my channel Raven. And then I looked at my cat one day and I thought, why not the Midnight Raven, as my cat's called Midnight? And I believe my channel has changed over the last 18 months into something that I'm still quite unsure of how I want to go with my channel, how I want my channel to be in the long run. I'm trying stuff, like I've started live streaming. If you haven't caught me on a live stream, I do try and live stream 2-3 times a week. And it does help bring your watch time up as well, which is also good. As of videoing this, I have nearly 500 subscribers, and I thank you for all of you. My channel itself is still going through a phase of uncertainty in the direction it wants to go. I originally did unboxings, but it's not cost effective at present to do that. So I have slightly changed my content, and as of today, my stereotypes of a goth video will have come out, giving you an insight into goth stereotypes and how we are typically frowned upon or feared for certain reasons. I also have a biography of goths coming out in the coming days on the different genres of goth, so that people that say they're fascinated by goth, or they like goth, or they're unsure of goth, or they don't know a lot about goth, can have a look at these different types of goths and read more into them. And I want to do more, not dark stuff, but more goth stuff on my channel, and try and dark it up a little bit, like the stereotypes, the influences that people think goths have. Like, we all do this, we all do that, like we're one great big clan. We do certain things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every goth is tarnished with the same brush. Then I've got, like I said, the subgenres of goth, so that people can understand the difference between cyber goth and industrial goth, or pastel goth and neon goth, or, you know, Victorian and emo, which we get mistaken for all the time, depending on who you are. And then after doing that video, I want to try and delve more into goth, steampunk. I want to try and do the essential clothes of a goth. I want to do goth makeup. I want to try and goth my channel up just a little bit. Just turn the goth up a little. Not just put it in your face. It's not going to be every video where it's goth, 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 goth. I'm going to try and spread them out so that you get a taste of me ever so often, you know, so it doesn't become monotonous that it just could be goth that's on my channel. I'm going to be doing other things as well. I still want to do wedding bits, as it's the wedding season, and I still want to do the funny videos, like the comical ones and the weird names ones, and I want to do more unboxings, and I want to do more makeup tutorials, and I want to find the Midnight Ravens niche in the channels and create a channel I'm proud of, without drama, without prejudice, without negativity, and just generally have a good time doing it. It's meant to be fun. I think some people forget that goths aren't just morbid, sitting in a room crying ourselves to sleep every night people. We're fun, we're out there, and I lived in my bedroom for many years in the shadows alone, and now I'm out of the bedroom, I'm in the world, and I want to be proud of how I got here. I mean, without being the mopey goth in my bedroom, being morbid, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today, which is a thing to look at, how you've come to be you by your influences around you. So the Midnight Raven, or Raven, is me. I am, in my heart, Raven. My name may not be no Raven in real life. My name may be Donna, but in my heart of heart, I am Raven, and I have been for a good 22 years of my life. Donna is still here. I'm still around, although my Raven part is more prominent. Although Donna still is here in person. This is me. Raven herself, I feel, is more the part I want people to see and show, and the Donna part where I used to cower in my room is gone as such. But you can determine that. But on a happy note, I'm looking forward to the next 6, 9, 12 months of my channel growing, changing, evolving, meeting more of you guys. If you're the first time watching this, hi. I'd love to get 1,000 by the end of the year. That would be so cool if I could hit 1,000 before October, when and then it'll be like a 2-year celebration of being on YouTube and finally hitting 1,000. So if you haven't already and you'd love to subscribe to me and find out more about me, if there are questions you still have about me, this is only like a quick biops of my life, you can comment down below and ask any question you like within reason. Be mindful that depending on your question, you might not get an answer, but let's be courteous towards my channel. If you haven't already and you'd like to slap a like on my video, that would be awesome. If you want to come back and see more of me, I do stream 3 times a week on a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Sunday, and then I do the occasional extra stream as well. If you want to check out all my other content, you can do. The Midnight Raven currently has like 400-500 videos now. Shock horror. I'm so busy. But yeah, that was just a general biops of my life. I could have gone into more detail and bore you, but I think a 20-minute life story is enough for one session. So if you want to know more about me, comment down below and give me a question. If you want to like this, please do. And I will see you for another video. Hopefully maybe a part 2, depending on what questions you ask me. Take care and thanks for watching, and remember, Midnight Raven is always here for you guys. Bye.